December 8th, 2019. There's a stellar core above me here, and it has cloud spouts coming down into the hills here. You can see some of the clouds there. And just a minute ago, I was watching them, and they went from white to almost grayish black. So they are processing something over there, and as they're processing that energy, is turning the clouds from white to black. And that's, I believe, lava tubes in the ground here. So it's absorbing heat, and then somehow in this cloud spouts is turning the clouds black. So I was wondering how the clouds were black and what they were doing. But I actually watched them turn from white to black as they processed some energy that was coming out of the earth right here. And this is all lava rock around here, and it's really black rock. And I believe these are lava tubes. It's going in between, these cloud spots are going in between the hills down real low to the ground, to where the heat is and the energy. And this one extends for miles. This stellar core, it spouts. It's really a big one. It's really, really big one. And this is what it looks like above me. And that's going to the northeast. It's going northeast very slowly. Probably, it's moving pretty slow. But there's a cloud spot right there. And all those clouds in the hills over there. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm just saying. See all the clouds in the hills there? Yeah, those went from white to, you can see the one back there. See that black one right there? That's in the hill there too. In mountains or hills, whatever you want to call them. And it's probably 1,000 feet up. But see, it's black back there, that one in the way but next to that tree there. Okay, the whole thing, all those went black. You can kind of see that they're darker. As they're processing some energy coming out of the earth right there, they're turning black. So that just shows that these black clouds, these little, faint looking black clouds, are actually processing, I'm gonna say heat energy, because of the lava tubes, I think, that are below the ground in these hills, because of all the black rock and the black like lava that's on the ground. So that's one thing we know now. These black clouds are part of a stellular core, a big one, and maybe there's probably more than one. The stellar cores, these big ones, but what they are, these black clouds are like spouts, I guess, if you want to call it that, or just part of the stellar core. And as it's processing heat energy from the ground, I'm gonna say heat because, like I said, of the lava tubes that I believe are here. So they're processing heat, and as they process heat, the white thin little clouds turn black. So maybe they don't have anything to do with light after all. And maybe it has something to do with the energy, the heat energy from lava tubes that it's processing. And these, instead of a cloud spout coming down from the stellar core, it's actually clouds that are floating on the underside, or the side that's closest to the earth. That these clouds are just absorbing the energy for the stellar core. Now I did also see them reaching up, and you can see that here too. Let me zoom in a little bit. See how they're reaching up as they're processing. In the middle of their processing and turning black looking, they are actually reaching up back to the stellar core. They come down, and then they start reaching up a little bit already, and as they turn black, they're really reaching up. You can see them reaching up right there. There's like 2, 3 of them reaching up towards the stellar core. So somehow this stellar core is so big that it doesn't need like a spout coming down. All it needs is some clouds coming down and processing it, and then just, I believe right now you can see those spouts coming up as they're forming right before my eyes here. I think they're throwing it back up. So these white clouds come down to the lava tubes, and then they turn around and lift it back up and throw it back up to the stellar core. That's what it looks like. You can see, look at that pointing up. There's like 2, 3 of them pointing up right there. And I've been watching these this morning because I'm curious about the white cloud that went in between the hills there. So this stellar core is so big that it doesn't need no spouts. It just has clouds below it that absorb the energy and transfer it over into what it needs for its matter that it's making. You see how it's changing and stuff? It's made like 2 spots in that big one, and there's another one there. And it's even further down in the hills here. So these hills, like I said, I believe are lava tubes from old volcano, and it's absorbing the energies and changing them over into other particles for the matter of the stellar core. Now, it's been sitting here since, let's see, it's been sitting here since last week. I shouldn't say last week. It's been sitting here, the stellar core has been sitting here since um, Monday. I would say since this past Monday. So today's the 8th. So it's been sitting here, and this is Sunday. So it's been sitting here for quite a while, the stellar core. And it's just absorbing energy here. And there's been a few breaks in the clouds, overnight, and um, during the day yesterday a couple times, but only for a couple minutes, so either another one moved in, or you know or it just kind of moved up and away for a minute or something. But you see how it's changing right as we're watching it. And they're all reaching up. You can see them reaching up, and there's a really big one further this way. See that dark one next to the tree there? That's a really big cloud there, but so you can see how that one's changing. Now, see, what's interesting is that, maybe you can't see it on my phone, I've got it zoomed in, but it's actually like changes back to like white. You can see it kind of doing that a little bit. And then it's like all of a sudden it gets a different kind of particle or something, or different kind of heat or more heat, and then it turns dark again. So it goes back and forth between this white cloud there, and then it goes back to uh, to black again. So it's either the processing it right there and giving it back to the stellar core above it, or it's changing as it gets the energy. So whatever energy it's getting is changing the cloud color to black and then back to white again as it absorbs it and changes over and gives it to the stellar core. So it's just interesting to see this occur and happen like this, and what it's doing. I mean, so it just shows how big, the bigger they are, the different, how they different in their spouts and how they absorb things. Because the bigger they are, the less spouts they need, and the more just clouds they use, to gather the energy. And you can't even tell, it's not like it's really like got a spout coming down and just sucking up energy there. It's just got some clouds that are down that are absorbing it and just, pointing up and giving it back up to it. So it's really interesting. So I just want to share that with you and make a video. And there's also one, let me zoom back out. Okay, this is looking northeast, where that cloud is in the hills. And then I'm going to go over here. And as you can see, down low on the ground almost, or level with the ground from here, it's far away, but there's another gray one. And it's really, really long and big. And it's part of this stellar core, and this stellar core is really big. But it's gathering energy over there. And you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see it's lifting up too, and pointing up in all areas along it. But there's that one. See how it's pointing up back towards the stellar core. So that's what that's doing. Now, I didn't really notice that these clouds, these black clouds, see, and they're staying that way. This one, I've seen it a little bit earlier, and it's staying that way. Which means that uh, it's continuously changing something over into uh, different particles for the stellar core, for matter. So it's just sitting over there doing that, and this is all part of this one stellar core. So the stellar core above here in this area in southwest Arizona um, is just huge, and I mean huge, because of all these clouds, you know, that are above the ground that are black and changing back and forth from black to white. You know, so it's gathering a lot of energy from this area. So, and I'm gonna say, because there's nothing out here, because this is a desert, that it's gathering heat energy from like lava tubes. That's the only thing it can be here, because there is no water right here except for like Colorado River, which is 20 miles west of here. This is looking northwest right here, and but there's no water out here. So the only thing that can be out here is either collecting matter, uh, you know, or something like that, but or some other particles. But the thing is that this whole area, if you look around, is just all lava tubes from, you know, past lava volcanoes, you know, past volcanoes that have been here, you know, years and years and I mean years ago. But that's all that's here that I can think of that it might be getting. So definitely, they definitely like heat, you know, to make their energy for their matter they're making. But this one's just sitting there. It's just huge and just sitting here for a whole week already. So at least now something we know is that, uh, you know, which is kind of important, that we know what we're looking at. Um, that the uh, the black clouds are actually processing, you know, particles for the core itself. The study of the core itself is processing the particles and giving it back up to the stellar core. So, and this helps us to know something very important. Um, it helps us know there's a stellar core above us. It helps us to know it's a big one. And it helps us to know that because these black clouds are actually processing uh, some type of particles, which is, you know, right now, from my thoughts on it, is heat from the ground, and it's giving it back up, because when they point up the top of them, back up to the uh, stellar core. So now we know how big they are and what kind of cloud envelope they're using for their energy, these particular ones, um, as they're gathering heat. So that's pretty interesting in itself, because the more we know about them, the more we can tell, you know, what one's above us, what it's working on, why it's there, how long it's there. You know, it just kind of helps us to see, you know, because this one came with rain. This one's they're actually producing rain. So if you kind of, you know, get it kind of figured out, you know, which ones are doing what, you know, it can help, you know what's going to be taking place weather-wise and for, you know, safety-wise and everything. So this one produces rain, no lightning or thunder, just rain here. And the cloud envelope that it uses is, you know, these white clouds that are low to the earth that change the energy, you know, into black, and as it's changing, it changes to black. And so that's what this one is. I think it helps because that way you know how big they are, what they're doing, and, you know, and just for weather reasons alone. So now this one does look like it's moving northeast. So they have this thing going then. It was slow, but it's moving northeast. So there must be something about either the magnetic poles or another planet around our planet or something. But somehow they're moving from like the southwest to the northeast. You know, this particular ring of, and I'm going to say ring of stellar cores, because by now the whole Earth's probably full of them. And, you know, they just constantly are moving according to, you know, whatever's going on, I guess the sun or whatever. But this particular ring of stellar cores are uh, down here in Arizona are going from the southwest to the northeast. So, so it's kind of a long video, but I just wanted to kind of mention it and show you, you know, what it's doing, so you can kind of see. Like over there, it's just coming over the hills and going for some heat there. And there's particular spots it goes. What's interesting is that these stellar cores are actually reaching down into areas, and you can actually see them moving to go do this. And it's not like they're everywhere, you know. They're not all over the place. Their little cloud envelope is just going down where the heat is. And it's actually coming down right here. If you can see it right there or not. There's some more clouds all of a sudden coming down over the edge of that hill. Now that's where they came in before, and they're coming down over that again. So there's more clouds coming in to do this. And there's a cloud going up there, and so you can see the cloud there. I'm going by halfway zooming, but if you can see it, they're coming down. There's only certain areas it comes down. Now the other day it did the same thing. It came down right there, and it came down over there and up there. So they got certain areas where the heat is, and go to it. They're attracted to the heat. So it must be really hot for that cloud to come down and get attracted to that heat. I almost want to go there and climb up the hill and see what's there, you know. The other day there was a cloud that came down, and it came down around a hill, and I thought, I'm going to go climb up there. Because it wasn't that high, you know. These hills are only about 1,000 feet up, maybe 2,000 feet. But I thought, I'm going to go and see what's there, because it came down around the edge and circled around the hill. And I thought, what is there? And I thought, oh, that's just like maybe, you know, a cave or something. Because sometimes caves, you know, stuff have moisture come out in the rain, and you can see that there's a cave there. So I thought, well, maybe there's a big cave there, and it's got, you know, crevices and openings along the edge of the hill. But now that I see what it's doing, this cloud envelope, that's not what it was doing. What that uh, was the cloud envelope from the stellar core reaching down around the hill. So I have to say one thing about this then, that the energy or like the heat energy that I was absorbing is right at the top of that hill. Like this one too. You can see that cloud right there. It just showed up there a minute ago. That means there's heat and or energy that it's absorbing that high up in the hill there. And that means these lava tubes, you know, are in the ground, is absorbing in the ground, but also there is heat and energy at the tops of these hills. So, or energy, you know, or energy, whatever's absorbing. So it's not just down below, low down like these are, down in the crevices, but they're also at the tops of them too. So not only is there um, just the lava tubes it's going after, but it's actually going after some energy or heat energy or even lava that may be higher up. So that's kind of interesting too. But it goes according to, I think, according to, you know, as it's moving, what kind of, clouds you're going to see, because, um, that's going away because it's moving, okay? So as it's moving, the cloud envelope that came around the hills is now going with it. It's pulling back. There's some there that was coming over the hill, and that one over there, they're going away because the stellar core is actually moving northeast, very slowly, but it's moving northeast. So what I'm saying is that these clouds come down, these thin ones, as part of the cloud envelope and the absorbing process. And as it's moving, they just go away, go back up into the stellar core. So this video was a long video, but I think it was important to know what this stellar core is doing. That way everybody knows, when it completely clouds over like this, and that to look for rain, and that it's absorbing heat, and It just helps to know. So that's about it for today.